Let me see if I can get going here. I don't know what that light. Is that my light back there? I believe it is. Let me see if I can adjust that. I'm going to do some adjusting, guys. One's getting in here. I've got a light issue behind me. Let me see if I can correct that. That helped it. That helped it finally. Okay. Didn't want it to appear too funky looking. Although I am using a green screen. I don't know if anybody's gotten in here yet. Let me see. Am I live? It says live. I have. Oh, there we go. There we got some guys. Hey, Daycab, Bonka, Craig, Truckers Life. Yeah, I'm getting in here, getting some live streaming. I hope this. I'm using the green screen, but I'm getting some After Effects here a little bit. Let me see if I can change something here. Where's the other side? The other side I need to change. I'm trying to do some different effects and hey, Heavy Hall. Hey, Joy. Yeah, I've been busy. I'm gonna have a real busy day today too. I hope this green screen's not bothering y'all. I see a little bit of artifacts. Let me stick something right quick here, if I may. I don't know if the artifacts are better or worse. Yeah, I did the headset thing and got it up. Hold on one second. I'm gonna flip off one light. I believe I got too heavy of a light in here or something. I'm gonna tone it down a little bit. Oh gosh, that's worse. I made it worse, didn't I? It's hard to judge these things sometimes. That's probably a little better. Just have to live with a little bit of it, I guess. Gosh, I'll have to get over in front of the artifacts there a little bit or change some stuff. I hope this background's not bothering y'all, is it? I mean, if it is, I can actually change it off. I've got a green screen, a total green screen. I'm trying to put some background in there, and I am, let me go back. I'm going to put none. Let me see what I come up with now. Actually, I don't know if that's better or worse. Yeah, well, it's easier said than done on that. Wait, let me go back to my screen here. I tried to do it too quick this morning, and I kind of got it off. Let me see if I can come up with something different. That's not any better, is it? Let me do one other thing. I am going to let me kill this off completely. I'm going to play around with my lights. I'm trying to do a backlit. I've got this, but that's a little bit too dark. So let me flip on one other light. Oh, wow. That's worse too. Gosh, I just can't get it right today, can I? I can't get it right. I'll just have to have it a little bit dark and funky there, if you don't mind. my green screen is, I'm trying to experiment with it. Let me go a little more with it. That's a little bit better, but doggone, I look too bright then, I think. It's got me too white now. I think I look too pale, don't I? Yeah, I'm between a rock and a hard place here, trying to get lighting. I'm trying to be too fancy, guys. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. I'm trying to get too fancy. See, I'm trying to get something livable. That's livable to a degree, but I got me too white. Let me move the camera angle. That's pretty decent there. Y'all can live with that, I hope. I'll have a little bit of. Okay, let me get Daycab. Daycab's wanting to get on here. Let me see if I can send you a link then, Daycab. Okay, now you'll have to send me your email address. I can send you a link, but you'll have to send me your email address. So if you send me that, then I can do something. All right, what is that camera grabbing there? Hold on one second, guys. I'm trying to adjust different things here. I don't know what my camera is catching there. Hey, Philip. Well, so Craig drove all the way from Chicago just to get home. Well, guys, I'm going to have to drive today. It looks like I have run out of drivers today, and I'm going to have to drive myself. Now, I can't figure out where I'm catching that. I'm looking at the back side of a screen on something. I don't know what I'm looking at. Got myself confused. Oh gosh, yeah, that headset was a real. It's got. You can see. I think I show it on the box. It's got a standby time of 12 hours, and then a talk time of 6 or 8, and then it actually has 2 batteries in it. It's a good point and a bad point. If you use it as a stereo, which you can't when you're driving, you have to charge both headsets, both right and left, which is good if you're out listening to music and stuff like that. When did I first get into trucking? 1967. I was 16 years old, and that's when I got into trucking. I started working at Carolina Freight Carriers, which is, and I'll actually here I can show you a little bit. Since you ask, I will show you my job, and there you go, right there. That was me in a switcher right there. That's a yard switcher that Carolina Freight had. They used B model Max, twin sticks, and that was the job that I had. That's a picture of me backing in a trailer right there, actually. Okay. Now, what do you mean you're in? Okay. Daycap, I never got a link from you. I got to get your email address. If I get an email address, I can send you a link. So send me your email address, Daycab. And I'll put you online here with me. Yeah, I've been at it for a while. Well, I'll be 69 years old next month, June 28th. So all of y'all get the presents ready, because I'll be expecting those good presents on June 28th. But yeah, I've been at it a while. I worked. Like I said, this was my job right here, working with Carolina Freight for all those years. And you're backstage. It doesn't show on mine, Daycab. I have to send you a link. I'm not showing anybody backstage or anything. I don't know where. I hadn't got you, Daycab. I had to send you a link, and then you have to link to what I send you on your email. So no. Yep, let the gag gifts begin. That's for sure. Daycab, send me your email address. I mean, let yeah. So let me see if I can get. And Daycab's. Let me. I am going to go out. So guys, I'm going to go to my email right quick. So I'm not going to be seeing your text for a second. Let me get to my email. Make sure that Daycab didn't email me. Okay. All right. Now what I've got, all right. I've got an invite from all Fishman. Okay. I've got you, but I can't, I won't be able to link that because that'll be your site. Let me copy your link, and I will send you my link because you will have to you'll have to get in. Let me get in there and do an invite to you. As soon as I get back on my email. You have to hold me. All right, now let me get back on mine and get this and put that back. Guys, it takes a little while. When you do the StreamYard and you do it live like this, it takes a while. Let me see if I can do that. All right. Now I'm going to send this to. All right. Now, Daycab, I have sent you a link to my site. What you did a minute ago, you had sent me a link to yours on StreamYard. So what you have to do is you're going to get an email from me. And once you get that email and click on that link, then you should be able to come inside this broadcast, if you understand what I'm saying. So when you get that email, Daycab, you click on my link, get off of whatever you're on StreamYard yourself, it looks like. And see, that won't work. You set the link backwards. All right, so Daycab, if you click on that link that I gave you, then you'll pop up on my site and everything, because right now I don't have anything other than just what I sent you. So hopefully, tell me if you got that link or not in your email. See Daycab's coming in. I see the listing coming in. As soon as I see there we go. Now I got you. Hey, Daycab, now do you see me? Can you hear me?
Hey, Mike, can you hear me?
All right, let me get my volume up a little bit so I can actually hear you too. So give me one. Here, I got my volume cut way down here. All right, can you hear me okay, Daycab? Daycab, can you hear me? I don't. Well, Daycab's in a Daycab, that's for sure. All right, Daycab, your screen is frozen right now. I don't know. All right, if he comes back to me, we'll see him in a second. Right now he's got a frozen screen. Hey, Trucking and Oversized Freight podcast. Okay. Okay. Daycap's trying to get back in. Let me add him back in on this one. All right. Let's see if you can get a better stream. I'm going to kill him off on this one. Whoops. I believe we got buffering problems, Daycab. Let's see if it's buffering right now. Okay, now I see you again. Can you hear me okay?
I can't hear you. I see video, but I can't.
Right. You're probably going to have headphones on. You're probably going to need headphones so you can speak better and everything else. If you got your Bluetooth headphones there, can you hear through that? Now, don't wreck the truck. I see you're driving. So, for goodness sakes, don't do that. That the background screen picture, Jerry, is let me get back to you on that. That picture was probably about 1971, 72, somewhere around that. But that if you want to know what we were using, B61 Max. All right, I'm gonna have to kill off Daycab's having difficulty, so I'm gonna go ahead and just let's go back to one screen. If his screen comes back better, we'll join him. We'll join him again. But for right now, I don't have that. Hey, Heavy Wrench, how are you doing this morning? Heavy Wrench, are you available this morning? Or are you working? If you're available, I'll get your email, and I had yours. I can get you an invite in here if you're available. Of course, Phil was up to about midnight, 11 or 12 o'clock last night on his stream. I was doing some editing and I kept listening to it. I was listening to it in the background, finished up my editing. All right. Let me see if I got yours in there. I'm gonna go to my emails and see if I've got Heavy Wrench. No, I have. Bill, if you will, send me your email again. Let me put my email up on there. Okay, just, okay. Well, here's Daycap trying again. Let me see if I can let me see if I can add him in here again. Have you got your headphones on now?
Yeah, I hear you. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you a little bit, a little muffled, but we'll go along with that.
A little muffled.
Yeah, just a little bit. Don't worry about it. Nothing's perfect in this world, so we won't worry about it too much. Now, where are you traveling today, Daycap?
I was in Gainesville. Now I'm headed back to Jacksonville.
I'm gonna be heading down that way myself. Not all the way to Jacksonville, but I'm gonna be headed to Savannah later today myself. I may get back on a live stream myself.
Yeah, it's about I think an hour and a half or 2 hours from Jacksonville.
Yeah. We're about 2 hours away from Jacksonville, 2.5, something like that. But
yeah, so Mike, I replied to your email for you to send me the link. That's what happened. It wasn't me to give you the link.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, either way, we got you in here. That's the main thing. We got you in and we got you going.
So listen, Mike, I had a question for you. Okay, I'd like your opinion as a fleet owner / owner operator / someone who's been in the business for a long time. So I don't know if you've heard, but there's a certain person or a certain group of people on YouTube who have been involved with congressmen, I guess, and senators from their state, they're pushing something called the TST. They're calling it Truckers Supporting Truckers. That's, I guess, the name of the group or bill they're trying to pitch to the Congress and Senate. So in the last relief bill that's coming, they want $1.50 a mile on all IFTA miles from the day Trump announced the state of emergency till he lifts the state of emergency, for the owner operator, one truck or whatever, to be paid, I guess, like a subsidy because of the low rates.
Well,
so they want. Yeah.
Let me explain to you. I don't think that would fly. One reason, I don't see how it could be regulated. And you're looking at brokers and you're looking at all these different people, and especially to make something retroactive, you would have millions of documents to have to scan through and check everything out. And I don't see how they could do that. I mean, that's sort of like what Nancy Pelosi's trying to do right now. And she's trying to make all this undocumented stuff more or less legit. And it's hard to make undocumented, situations factual. I mean, you need actual facts. I mean, who's to say that driver actually ran a run and was paid less and all this sort of stuff? I think it would be a nightmare. I don't see how that may be what they want. That's not necessarily what they would get, and they may or may not get any kind of subsidy. That's just one small entity. I don't know how many is involved with that, and I imagine, of course, all these ones that are starving out there and not getting the rates that they want will probably try to pursue that. But I don't see how you could get anything in there, especially undocumented things like that. You're saying retroactive when he made it a state of emergency. Well, it really wasn't a state of emergency. I guess when they started shutting everything down, basically what you're saying. And at what point did these people quit getting their loads and their rates and everything else? I mean, that's a nightmare within itself. I don't see how you can get it. But, I'm all for a fair rate. I'm all for getting a fair rate, and I'd like to see all the guys be able to do what they can do. But as it stands right now, I don't see how in the world that you could take something that vague. I mean, that's just like the illegals. I mean, you got Nancy Pelosi wanting to pay all the illegal immigrants money. Well, how do you know who they are, when they've been here, all this sort of stuff? That's the part of legality that you've got to stress. I mean, if it's not legal, if you can't, there's this PPP stuff out there right now, and it's very strict. I mean, you're going to have to prove all of your documentation, all your payroll. It's a payroll forgiveness program, supposedly. And, they will see. I mean, that's why you saw places like Ruth Chris and all those having to give their money back, because they knew immediately that they were not eligible. And they were trying to do like a gray area and, kind of got caught with their pants down on that. So, I don't see how they can implement something like that. I mean, wanting it is one thing, and going forward with good rates is another. But doing anything retroactive, I just don't see it.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Now, just moving over to my next question to you, if you don't mind.
Don't mind at all. I'll drink a drink.
What do you think about the new regulations? And also, part two, do you think people or the protesters had something to do with the new regulations being implemented so fast?
Let me stop you because you broke up really, really bad. I couldn't hear but about every other word. So I don't know which regulation are you speaking of? Which,
The new HOS.
okay, I'm
The
still.
new hours of service.
Oh, okay. I got the hours of service. I really. All right, I'm gonna have to put Phil's. Guy's gonna have to help me here because I've got to do two things at one time. I'm putting Phil's email up here so I can get a hold of him. So let me do this at the same time. We're gonna bring.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Now ask me that again if you will, Daycab.
Okay, I guess I went through a rough patch.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about the new hours of service regulations? And do you think the protesters in Washington, the truck drivers, had anything to do with it rolling out so fast?
Okay, you're gonna have to enlighten me because I don't know what I haven't been told of anything on the hours of service change that affects me. Now, go ahead and explain it because I've been running under the old regulations, haven't changed anything. I mean, we're still running the same amount of hours. We're still going to only drive 11 hours a day. I don't know what are the changes that were implemented that you're talking. You explain it better to me.
Well, they weren't. I don't think they go into effect until September, and this is clearly from like the trucking website. I don't think the FMCSA have official documentation on it yet. But supposedly the 30-minute rule that you could do on duty now, you'll be able to do it on duty. There used to be we have an 8-2 split. They're making it an 8-3 split. There was like two other things. There's a total of 4 things. I can't recall the other 2. Maybe the people in the chat could recall the other 2.
Yeah. I haven't seen, like I said, I usually like to see documentations on that before I make a judgment call. And I don't think it's going to affect me personally that much. So I don't know what.
Can you still see me or no?
Do what?
Can you still see me?
Yeah. Hold on one second. Yeah, I still see you. I'm trying to do 2 things at the same time.
Okay. Yeah, no, because I clicked on the comments and my screen like turned to the comments and I could only see the comments. Now I can't see you.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, you'll have to just click all off of it. But yeah, let me. I'm trying to get Phil in here. Is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get Heavy Wrench. Let me see if I got his invite sent and everything. Yeah, I still see you fine and everything. All right, Heavy Wrench, I got you in there. And then, okay. All right, Trucking Oversize is putting out. He's putting some explanation about it. Expands the driving winter during adverse. Well, see, adverse conditions. We've already had that anyway. That's pretty much the same on the adverse conditions because we could always go 16 on that. So that's not a big change. Okay, requires a 30-minute break after 8 hours. That's still the same there too, instead of on duty time, and allows an on duty not driving period to qualify as the required break. That's not a lot of difference. Let's
yeah. The one thing about the 30-minute break rule, it's what they're saying is before you had to take a 30-minute break within the first 8 hours of on duty.
That's the way it is now.
The new rule is supposed to be yeah. The new rule is a 30-minute break will be required from within 8 hours of drive time.
Well, I don't see a lot of. I mean,
yeah,
a lot of guys are going to be. Not many people are going to drive past 8 hours straight anyway. I mean, your bladder won't take that much. So you're basically going to, I don't see how you can physically not do that, not unless you're, okay, here we go. Here we got Phil. Let me add Phil into the stream. Oh,
Good morning.
Good morning, Phil.
And we got
Morning.
morning. Nice to meet you, Slim.
Nice to meet you. Hold on, I don't see you on the screen. I don't know how to.
What do you go by?
Yeah.
Cab or
You could call me Alex.
Alex? All right, Alex.
Okay.
I'm Phil, the heavy wrench, whatever you want to call me. Oh, he's
Oh,
gone.
we lost him. We lost him there.
We lost him. That's not good.
No, he'll pop back in there.
That's all right.
In there.
The worst part is you started reading these comments, and I work on heavy equipment, but the trucking guys, you guys are super important to what I do, and your day definitely dictates some of my day, for sure.
Well,
so I'm curious about this new regulations and stuff like that, because I mean, it's tough.
Yeah, we get I'm gonna flip truck. Okay, trucking and oversized. He put up some things.
Does he have is that an actual name of his podcast?
It must be. He is evidently new. I have not seen that before. I got day cab trying to get back in. He must be running through some bad area right now. He's kind of popping in and out on the.
Because if that's
yeah, now I got another one up. Okay, here's the first thing you put. It modifies a sleeper berth section to allow a driver to meet the 10-hour minimum off duty by spending it at least 7. Okay, that's a little bit of a change, and then rather than at least 8 of that period in the berth, that gives you 1 more hour to set up, basically.
Where it does affect us as far as heavy equipment mechanics, we fall under a CDL.
Yeah.
And we are driving a commercial truck as a repair as field service people. But that whole 14-hour day, and you know what I mean? And there's nobody really has a sleeper.
Right.
And you could be out on a job, and we've actually have it set up right now where I'm a shop guy. So if one of our field guys runs out of driving time, right?
Right.
As a shop guy, I'm on call to say, no, Joey, I didn't give anybody the boot. But I'm on call as a rescue driver, if that makes sense.
Right.
So if one of our guys is out on a job, a big job, working, and next thing you know, he's tied up with his service truck, can't leave, can't go to sleep, he's stuck there fixing this machine. He runs out of time and he's still working. I'm actually set up to go with a pickup or a car, whatever, drive there to wherever he's at
and relieving
and drive his truck back.
Well, now I had a very similar situation a couple of years ago. I have a mechanic that is also a CDL driver for me, and he bobtailed a unit up to the scale house. Well, he was bobtailing up above the scale house, got stopped at the scale house, and they locked him down because he didn't show where he had clocked in that morning and didn't show his off-duty time at the shop. And he said, I'm just bobtailing up here. They said, we don't care. They locked him down at the scale house. I had to send a third truck, well, actually a pickup, to go pick him up and get him back past the scales to get him back down.
Well, that's what I always had an issue with is when I worked for a company, that.
Well, there's the question for you, Phil. Do you see that?
Oh, Patrick. Does this mean you have to go out and fix machines in the middle of the night? When I was in field service, yes, I did. It was any time, day or night. And that was all the time. I mean, I've been out. I have physically worked on construction equipment every hour of the day, period, multiple times. That's,
yeah.
I mean, throughout my career of every hour of the day, I've been out on the road doing something somewhere. Where these regulations start to get to me is I'm in a day cab. If I'm in a service truck, I'm driving maybe an hour trying to work 7 or 8 for the customer, and then driving an hour back, right? So my hours of on duty is cranking up there. My hours of drive time is very low.
Let me stop you. Day cab, I've seen you try to pop in a couple times. Evidently, day cab has got a bad signal right now. But as soon as he gets a good signal, we'll get you back on day cab. Not to say Phil's not a bad guy and booting you out.
I'd love to chat with him because he seems pretty cool.
Yeah, he does.
But this is where I have a I don't know. That's one of those things I get kind of confused on, is where they try to tie us to regulations too, that it's basically set up for the over the road person.
It's bad how they do that, because they like I said, my mechanic, I had no idea that they were going to do me like that. They wanted him to show them a time clock of where he had clocked in that morning at the shop. And I don't even use, my guys are on straight time. They don't even use a clock. So, we would had to have made up one, but they wanted a time clock and wanted showing where he had punched in that morning. And he told the guys, "Hey, I don't punch in." He said, I'm on straight time. And they didn't want to accept it, and they shut him down. They said, "That's fine. Well, you're going to be on straight time 8 hours right here, or 10 hours right here." They said, "This truck will not move unless you put another driver in." So basically, that's what I had to do, is take another driver up there to get that truck and bring it back with another driver. And it was ridiculous.
Because I made some runs in a semi from Michigan to Ohio, I went to Alabama one time.
Getting down here in good places, aren't you?
The company that I worked for, we had some material down in Alabama, and I took a day cab semi, a day cab Mac at that. Ooh. Final tier 4. It was a newer Mac.
Did you bobtail it down?
No, I had a drop deck with a spread, 9-foot spread.
Thank goodness.
So I get all the way down there in a day cab, and I made it. And people were looking at me like I was crazy, because I had Michigan plates, plated for 160,000 on my plate. And I was in the one rest area, and the guy's like, "What are you doing down here?" And I think I was in Kentucky or something. And he's like,
"Oh man, if you got in Kentucky, you don't want to go through Kentucky. That is the worst state. They will lock you down for anything." I have had more. It's a good state in some ways, because a lot of times they're closed at night. But if you go through the daytime, or if you get caught at night when they're checking everything, they'll go through you like a fine-tooth comb.
Absolutely. If you, like I said, I think I said it last night on my live stream. If you ever want to double check your DOT inspection, Kentucky is the place, man.
Yeah.
They will find. They will fine-tooth comb. I think they have the best inspectors in the world in Kentucky.
Yeah, they're friendly guys. They're not mean. They're not mean to you, but boy, they will let you know what every regulation is, and what. Plus, and when you go through Kentucky, you have to have there's a special sticker. What's it called?
KYU.
Maybe. Yeah, the KYU. Yeah,
the KYU number. Yep. If you don't have that KYU, you're getting pulled in.
Yeah.
They're going to check your permit to make sure you got your EFTA sticker.
Yeah, you got
your cab card for that state or whatever they call it.
Yeah, but you got to have that particular. That's just like there's a new one called the Hut sticker up there in New York too. Now, thank goodness. Oh yeah, I don't have to use it. I get it. They give it to all my trucks, but I don't have to use it, because I'm not going to New York. No offense, New York, but I'm not going to New York. I'm gonna let Mario Cuomo the Cuomo brothers run that state. I don't want it.
Yeah,
they got too much taxation and too many regulations and everything else. I just don't. And I just don't like going that direction. My trucks go south. It's a lot easier on my equipment. I I don't have to worry about rust. I don't have to worry about getting beat all to pieces. Pennsylvania tore up several of my trucks by having terrible roads, you know.
Really?
I mean, yeah, 81 was a bear there for a few years, and it was it seemed like it's probably still under construction, but it seemed like it was forever under construction.
They
No, you won't, not a sit down, not unless I'll go in my car, Joey, but I don't want to drive a truck. You won't find me in a truck up there. I know Joey lives in New York.
yeah, it's
yeah, I'm not scared there's salt. They might get the salt off when about July.
Yeah, that's about it. Same here in Michigan. We don't there's nothing fun about it. But if you're a mechanic and you want to be working on vehicles and stuff, yeah, down south is the place to be, because rusted, broken bolts are daily in our life. You know, I mean, you know what the worst part about doing a pancake or a brake chamber is? The clevis pin.
Yeah. Well, I can imagine
that seized out. It's always seized in Michigan. If it's a gravel train or a salt hauler, and that's another thing that we get popped on a lot for our inspections, even in Michigan, is actually those pins being seized.
Yeah.
If those pins, and there is no anti-seize in the world that you can put on them that'll stand up to salt.
No.
I think it's almost like you have to rubber dip the pin and the thing so you can, protect it. But
well, brake chambers, fortunately, are not that expensive, so you can just go ahead and replace them and be done with it. By the time you were to mess with trying to unseize that and get it back functional, you would spend way more in labor than you would be if you were just to go ahead and knock it out. Because that's every time we get our trucks in, our new used trucks we get, that's one of the first things we do. We just go ahead and automatically just take the brake chambers off because we know that's an easy fix and it's an easy repair, but it's a repair that will put you down in a heartbeat if that happens on the road. And
30/30s are cheap when you call a tow truck.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you call a tow truck at 3:00 in the morning to pull you 10 miles or 50 miles or wherever to get something fixed. You're talking about $1,000, $1,500 tow bill. Well, you can put brake chambers on 5 trucks for that. So that's what we do. We just go ahead and automatically put new brake chambers, new brake shoes, get all the air lines, fix the air lines, anything that we know that can be a bad problem. We go our checklist when we get these trucks in. We put all new turbo hoses, all new turbo springs. We put
you change all your charge air.
Yes,
all your charge air tubes.
All the charge air tubes.
Do you buy that silicone hose from?
I get it from Napa.
You get it from Napa. Son of a gun.
Why wouldn't I?
I know, but they do offer that hose.
Oh yeah,
as a Napa part.
Yeah.
We have because that's the hardest thing for me to find as I've worked on trucks, as working on anything. The charge airlines are the hardest thing to find people that have in stock. It's not like it's a Parker product that they keep on the shelf. It's not a Gates product that they keep on the shelf. They are both made by those companies, I believe.
Yeah.
But it's hard to find those clamps and those actual the hose itself,
Yeah. Let me ask, hey, Kevin, I say you're in your house. Do you want to do you have a good enough stream and a camera to get online? We see Kevin every week, but he's always on the road. Kevin, would you like to get on the line? If you do, send me your email in the link, and I'll put you up there because Daycab was on, and I lost him.
I do have to.
Phil's such a big guy. He booted him out.
My shoulders just popped him out. I don't know what happened. I do enjoy your live streams, being on your live streams so much, Mike, because I get so much information and general trucking knowledge that helps me be a better, more understanding person, I guess, too. Because, I mean, I've been dealing with truck drivers, and I know a lot of truck drivers, and I have plenty of friends that drive truck. And I bust their chops every chance I get because they're just, that's the type of people we are. You know what I mean? But as far as like I just did on Friday, we have one of our low boys. It's a triaxle with a lift. It's, you know, normal Michigan lowboy truck. And I just did a 3-axle brake job on the rear for him. Now I do hold all my certs because I have worked on trucks in the past at a truck shop full time. I did it for, I don't know, a year or two or whatever it was. And I didn't like it. Flat rate truck work was not for me.
Well,
I made good money, but I'm not. If I had those lifts when I was working on trucks, I'd probably still be working on trucks.
Right. Now, those lifts are essential for us. Oh, you got a weak signal. Okay. Well, I'd love to have you on here sometime, Kevin. There's a lot of guys that jump in and out and converse. Just keep on typing then. But, you know, sometimes I like having a live stream like what we're doing now. These have been more entertaining for me, getting the other opinions because, you know, I like seeing the chat and everything. That's fine. But when I can actually converse with somebody and we can see each other and talk and the other guys can see them, I think it's great. And I'm going to try to continue this way with my live streams because I think it enhances what we can convey, like I said, to the public out there because, you know, in a split second, I can probably answer a question a lot better than I can when I'm typing.
Yeah. It's definitely like, so that brake job, you know, I'm doing a brake job. I'm still certified, but on those lifts, do you have any of the attachments for them, like the frame attachments? Or
I got all those attachments. Plus I even have you seen the jack stands? See, I have the jack stands. They're rated at 18,000 pounds a piece.
Okay.
And I actually got a picture. I wish I had.
I've done some looking. The other day I looked because I was looking to get out for that brake job. I wanted to get under the frame like the old frame jacks, right? Like they used to roll up behind and jack it up. I wanted to do that similar thing, and I'm like, how can I get this to sit?
You need the jack stands. That's what you got to have. See, that's what we've got. We've got the 18,000 pound jack stands, and then we've got it where it's got like a nipple, and we got one that it's got the coupling where it couples around the frame, and that's probably the one you're talking about.
That's the one I wanted, yeah.
Right, and then you can do that and let it off the lift and put the jack stands, and then let the lift go down and move the lift out of the way and be able to.
I've seen on their website they have like a slide over you put over the wheel, like where the wheel would sit. You slide over this attachment, and then they have them for agriculture too.
Right.
But they have it's got like a plate on top where you can set the cups for the frame and have it still adjustable by the frame. And I'm like, I told my boss, I'm like, I don't know how much they paid for these things. I don't know how much these lifts are.
That particular set that I got cost me $38,000.
Okay. Because I told him my goal was to get them down to $1,000 a use by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Well, and he started laughing. He's like, you better start using them.
You better use them a lot. Right. Yeah. The ones I've got cost me $38,000 for those 4. And then I've got the jack stands, and those jack stands, I'm wanting to say they were $6,000.
How tall do the jack stands go?
How tall?
Yeah.
I think they'll go up to 8.
Walk underneath the truck.
Oh yeah. Yeah. These jack stands are fantastic, and they you know. Okay, I was getting Kevin's remark there, but these jack stands are great, and plus we have the transmission jack. We got the jack stands, and then we have a lot of the accessories that you're talking about. I guess all total, I've got probably 50 grand in everything I bought from them. And
do you need a temporary mechanic for a little while so I can try out all this fun stuff?
I'll bring you down here permanently, and you'd love it.
Oh, I don't know if I could get my wife to move, but it'd be a tough one.
Well, you probably have all the family and everything up there.
That's the tough part. There's a comfortable man, 12, had a question up there, just a little higher up.
I got it.
That I'm hearing a popping sound when I use my brakes, then the tractor pulls to the left. Do you think it's a brake chamber problem? I think it's an adjustment.
Yeah.
I think you have a slack that's not adjusted.
Yeah. See, if it's on the rear, you got a slack adjuster problem, and if it's on the front brake, then check it out. You may have a loose shoe or something. Oh well, I don't know what he's got. It's kind of hard.
It doesn't. I mean,
it could have a broken spring. You could have.
In my opinion, I've seen that to be definitely an adjustment because you hit the brake and then all of a sudden you hear the pop because the cam will all of a sudden snap.
Go forward. Yeah.
And then it grabs tight, super tight.
And then a jerky right or left, whichever way it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that would be adjustment. I mean, in all reality.
Yeah, it could be. And like I said, we have had some, the springs, if you had a spring to break too, or one that's weaker, it's going to cause that same thing too, because there'll be enough slack in the brake itself to just give it a slight pop. In other words, it's moving just a little bit more than it should. So yeah, like I said, either adjustment, broken spring, or just maybe the shoes wearing bad on one side. I've seen hundreds of different scenarios like that. And it's hard to it's the old saying, back it up to the phone and rev it up a couple times, maybe we can figure it out.
Yeah, no doubt. But
it's hard to put it on the phone or video, but that's some generic answers, I guess you might say.
That's shooting from the hip, right?
Yeah.
The old, or throwing some spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yep, that's exactly right. And, yeah. Let me go. I'm gonna flip down here.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's somebody telling you to get her out of Wisconsin there. Or it's Michigan, not Wisconsin. For Phil.
Yeah.
Phil's in Michigan. Phil's up there where the communist state is, where they won't let you move around.
Whoa. Oh man, I still live in America.
Yeah, barely.
I'm still American. I'm almost Canadian, but still American.
But what do you think? Well, I mean, not getting too political, but your governor has just gone off the rails.
You know,
I mean she's not letting somebody move, not letting somebody, if they drive from their house to their summer cabin, get arrested for that. Now, that is ridiculous.
I don't know how. There's been a lot of, I guess, if you really want to, I guess, in my opinion, I understand both sides of the coin.
Yeah.
And I understand the people that do live, like in our state, we have everybody goes up north to their summer cabin or their winter cabin, actually, half the time, to go snowmobiling. Because there's a snow belt that comes through about halfway through the state, and that's where all the snowmobiling happens. You head up there, head up to the Upper Peninsula, and then where you can actually shoot across to Wisconsin. And it's a, they call us trolls because we live in the Lower Peninsula. We live under the bridge. Okay. That's the term for everybody that lives under the bridge, which is good. And, there's a lot of communities up there that thrive on the money generated from the people that come from down where I am up to there to buy things and go out to dinner and restaurants and stuff like that. So a lot of people that when she did say whatever happened, where they said, hey, pick one place is what it actually kind of stated. If you're going to go up north and stay at that home, stay at that home. She wanted to limit the travel. Okay. I get it. I don't know what's right or wrong. I just know I'm going to work and, I try to keep my head down and keep moving forward is my plan.
I think what happens is you've got so many people that are out of work up there that want to work, that have jobs that they can't go to right now. And, we've got to be, and it happens here in North Carolina too. We got a governor very similar in North Carolina, and he is locking down the state a lot more than the initial projections were. And that's what's happening in Michigan too. I mean, y'all don't have, except for Detroit and maybe Lansing, those are the only two hot spots in the state. And the rest of the state, which is a huge state. I mean, when people think about how big Michigan is, a lot of people think, well, it's Detroit. Well, no, Detroit's a small area as far as land mass, and Lansing is a small area as far as land mass. But gosh, you take away those two land masses, you got a huge state in Michigan. Beautiful.
Yeah, there's a lot of wide open spaces in Michigan.
Yeah.
There's a lot of wooded area. There's a lot of mining areas. There's a lot of
that's where 3M came from.
Yeah. Like you have Saginaw as another big
Yeah.
As far as big cities in Michigan, there's really only, like you said, Detroit,
Lansing,
Flint, Lansing. Then you got Grand Rapids
and Saginaw.
Them are your big five. I would say your big five cities, if you will. That the rest of the state is really, the suburbs or farming or logging or
and that's the thing. And as I tell a lot of people, we're all Americans out here. We're not Republicans and Democrats. We're Americans, and we need to make sure that the Americans are treated right. People that want to stay at home, shelter at home, and this is what we're saying down here: stay at home. But for people that feel the need to get out and move, do it, but do it safely. So, wear the mask. I mean, to give you, for instance, I was reading a news article this morning, and it shows all these news media people wearing their mask when they were having the press conference. Well, somebody other than the normal news media took pictures as soon as the press conference was off. What did they do? They all took their mask off. So they were being hypocritical and trying to project that we're doing the right thing. The president, you're not doing the right thing. Vice president, you're not doing right. You're not wearing your mask and that sort of stuff. And then as soon as the cameras go off and they think that they're in the clear, they take theirs off, even though and then they went out and started mingling with each other and socializing amongst themselves. And that was on the news media this morning, a report about that. So, it's fine for us to try to control this situation, and we do need to control it, but just don't be hypocritical about it. Don't say, very much like Cuomo up in New York. Everybody knows the story about Cuomo. He's saying, oh yeah, I'm in my basement. Well, he was caught 2 or 3 times outside riding his bicycle or doing other things. And then, it was a guy on a bicycle caught him. That's what it was. A guy was on a bicycle and Cuomo, instead of being locked in like CNN, like he projects to be, was out walking around looking at his property up there at Martha's Vineyard or whatever. And so we're at a state that the average person, and here's who I feel for, is the average person that, and this is who it affects the worst, is the lower, say middle class to lower income, or even upper middle class, lower income, that have had their jobs taken away. And now they're going, how do I feed my family? How do I pay my rent? How do I pay the light bill? And we got too many people that are arrogant about the fact that said, oh, well, wait for a check. Well, who in their right mind can sit back and feel like, well, I'll wait on a government check? You'll starve to death waiting on a government check. They're not going to be consistent. And, like you and God, I'm so thankful. I'm busy. I'm actually over busy right now. I am actually going to be driving a truck later today myself, because I ran completely out of spare drivers today. and I've got to get out and drive. Kevin, where are you at? Can Kevin drive for me? But I
Mike Jones recruiting.
Yeah, I know it. I need to recruit. We're actually recruiting. I'm hiring more drivers. I've got to hire some more in the Charlotte area. I've got some nighttime runs I've got in the Charlotte area that I've got to hire for, and I've got some more runs in the Savannah, Georgia area. So yes, I am recruiting. So if anybody needs a job and you want it in either Charlotte or Savannah, Georgia, I'm your guy if you got the qualifications.
I'm a little far north for you, but that's okay.
Well, unfortunately, you won't see any of my trucks above the Mason-Dixon line, Harley.
I wish I did, but I do carry my CDL still.
Do you?
I have I'm Class A air brake, which was all good back in the day. I mean, you probably now if you take it with an automatic, you have to drive an automatic type of deal. I don't understand all that, but
well, I had to turn down 2 drivers this past week because that very thing. They were automatic only. I had this one guy, he'd been talking to me for several months and kept saying, when you got a spot open, and he's already in FedEx's system. He is a driver at FedEx and wanted to come work for me. He wanted to leave the contractor he's at because he's running team and run single operation, what I do. And he called me and I said, oh yeah. And he said, oh, by the way, he said, you have automatics, don't you? I go, no. He said, oh, well, I'm automatic restricted. I said, well, we could have solved this problem a long time ago then, because I can't hire you then if you're automatic restricted. And so I told him, I said, go get that taken off your license or get the qualifications for a double. I mean, this guy's been driving 4 or 5 years, but he's been in automatic trucks only. So I think that's detrimental to a CDL license big time, because you never know when you're going to, you might get a rental truck or something, and the rental truck comes in and it's a straight drive. So
and that's what when I looked at it, because when I got my CDL, I wanted to make sure I got as much as I possibly could. And this was back in, I would say I took all the tests in like 2000-ish is when I got my CDL. So it was before.
You know when I got mine.
My question is, did you even take a CDL road test?
They did not have CDL road tests when I was. I took a road test, but it didn't have. CDLs did not come about until 1987 or 88, I believe, and but you did not have to have I think it went permanent that you had to have them in 80. It might have been 89 or 90 that it had to be CDLs at that point. 80, I think 89, and but. As far as my first license, I didn't even have my picture on it. My first CDL license did not even have my picture on it. It was just a paper license, and it was not called CDLs. It was called chauffeur's license.
Yeah, that's what popped up.
Chauffeur's license, Class A, is what I had. And
Class A. I have Class A with doubles. I have my doubles endorsement, and I also have my tanker.
I don't have a tanker.
I had my hazmat, and I let that lapse.
Well, that's not a major thing. I don't have hazmat myself. We don't need hazmat. We don't ever carry. What little bit of hazmat, we're on some sort of exception with FedEx, and if we have hazmat, they'll give us a packet that has that on the bill of lading.
Yep.
And it will say what little bit we have. It is very little.
And but I let that go because there's so many regulations to having a hazmat that it was.
Now, Joey's a pop. Yeah, I'm going to show you.
Yeah, go ahead.
He said paper license with the number, not quite 1.
Probably that first 1,000.
Well, actually, no, it's probably my dad actually started. See, my dad, and I'm going to show you. I'm proud of my dad. I'm gonna put something on the screen here. Let me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find
But my goal was to get as many endorsements as I could, so I could be.
I'm gonna show you. There is a picture of my dad. He was in the 82nd Airborne. He was he was an interpreter in World War II, and he also fought in the Battle of the Bulge. I know a lot of people have heard the Battle of the Bulge. Dad was he about died in the Battle of the Bulge, but I'm very proud of him and his service and everything. He had 4 or 5 years there. I thought I had another picture. I've got some other pictures that I put up.
How are you green screening?
I got a green screen behind me.
You are. It's so cool.
Hey, I'm a high-tech redneck, aren't
I? You are like, man, the upper echelon of serious.
Now here I'm gonna show you something. Whoops. Okay. All right. You see that number 31 over there? Let me see if on this football. This is my high school football team.
You are 31. Your chair is kind of blocking it right now.
Okay, let me see if I can. Whoops. Go to whoops, wrong side. Let me hold on. I'm going the wrong way. All right, you see 21 and 89 and 31 on that screen.
It's a little cut off right now.
Okay, well, that's my high school football team. This is when I got recruited to start working at Carolina Freight. I was they wanted a bunch of the football players, and so they recruited.
They wanted to lift boxes, didn't they?
Hey, I was lifting boxes, and then I saw right quick that driving that truck out on the yard looked a lot easier than switching things around. So I went out there and started driving the truck instead. But
how much? I guess I have a question for you. As far as repairs go, how much do you do on the road if you have a breakdown on the road? Do you just hook it back, or do you actually have like some sort of
I do a little bit
out there?
This is where I may be different than some shops. We spend a ton of money in preventative maintenance. I mean, a ton of money. We do not let things go. I mean, tires and brake chambers, brakes, anything that we see that's going wrong, we pull it back into the shop as soon as possible. I mean, if we see, a lot of guys, they'll say, "Oh, I forget who that was talking about a brake problem a while ago." They'll let that linger and they'll keep going until it quits. And we can't do that. We can't afford to do that. I'll give you, for instance, this past week, we had an air dryer to go. Well, we thought it was an air compressor, and it still may be. I don't know. We're working on. I think it's a it's a valve on the compressor. We're not going to try to. They're trying to put the valve in instead of that. But anyway, we had a driver he called and told us about it. Great driver, and he's right on top of things. And he called me, and I told him, I said, "Well, Russ," I said, "going into the Savannah terminal, because I have trucks down there too." And he had left Charlotte and was headed down to Richmond Hill, Georgia. Oh, good gracious, who's this calling? Got somebody important. That's probably. Let me see right quick.
Go ahead. I'll take over for a minute.
Hello.
Yeah. Renegade's Garage is in the house.
We're not open today.
So is Heavy Machinery.
We'll be open tomorrow morning, 8:00.
Enjoying this chat. Thank you, Renegade. Yeah. Renegade's Garage is listening in, which is awesome.
Was Renegade Garage in? I didn't know he was in.
Yeah, he popped up here.
All right, I hadn't seen him.
I just started looking at the comments when you were taking your phone call.
Yeah. Well, do that because I was getting behind.
I do.
There's Heavy Machinery now.
Yep, and he's actually from Austria.
Heavy Machinery's from Austria.
Austria, yes.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Same place that Arnold is from.
Yeah. So he go, "I'll be back."
Yeah. He's a really good dude, man.
Now, is he living in Austria now, or is that?
Yes. Yep, he's in Austria. He
wow. So it's let's see, So in Austria right now, it's probably 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah,
4.
I think it is something like that. I think it's 6 hours difference or something.
Yeah,
like that.
5 hours from me. Yeah,
5, 6, something like that.
yeah,
I think we're the same. I think we're both. I'm Eastern Standard too.
yeah. Are you on Eastern Standard or Central?
I'm Eastern Standard.
Are you?
Yep. Central doesn't start until like Chicago.
Wow. I thought for some reason I thought you were on, because here I'm thinking, when you get up and Kentucky is on Eastern, but Indiana is Central.
Yep.
And I was thinking straight up, but you're more straight over Ohio, which is Central. I mean, which is Eastern.
Yep. We actually touch 3 states in the bottom corner: Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. And
well, see, now Tennessee splits. Half of Tennessee is Eastern, and half of Tennessee is Central. And they split over there before you get to Nashville, on the other side of around Oak Ridge, Tennessee.
Something like that. Now that screws up. When I was going down south with that to get that load of material down in Alabama, that messed me up so bad. And the one driver we had a driver that drove for the company forever, and he was by far the best resource I had for how to get and do it right. You know what I'm saying? He was like,
yeah,
all right, Phil, you're going down there. I'm going to keep you out of
trouble. Yeah.
Okay. And he's like, you got to fill out your logbook this way. He's like, I know it doesn't make sense, but he's like, you got to show you have a week of off. So, anyway, what's going on, buddy? You got
your son.
I got a good morning son here. You want to say hi to Mr. Mike?
Yeah, come on in here.
Say hi to everybody.
Now, what is your son's name?
This is Cody.
Cody, you be a good boy out there now.
He's trying.
You keeping your daddy straight? Are you helping your daddy out there? Huh?
You can say it. You can talk.
I said yes.
Oh, he says yes.
He said yes. How old are you, Cody?
How old are you?
4.
4.
When I was your age, I was 5.
What?
That's a joke that 4-year-olds don't get.
I want you to do this part.
Maybe in a little bit, okay? I'll be able to do that in a little bit. He's playing a game.
All right.
And you go to the Cap Kingdom, and Bowser needs a wedding, and then when Bowser got dizzy, then you can become Bowser when the moon rocks fall down, and you have to hop up quickly because like everything falls, and then you have 6 lives.
I believe Cody's going to be a lawyer.
He has got a lot of explanations that he can give for sure. He's really
That's what
good.
I'm listening to. So I believe he could be a good lawyer for you.
He definitely keeps me going. That's for sure.
Now, how many do you have, Phil?
I have 2. I have a 12-year-old and a 4-year-old.
Yeah, I have 2 young ones too. I have a 49-year-old and a 47-year-old.
Yeah, which are both older than me.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, my daughter works for us in the business, and my son is an electrical engineer. He's a lot smarter than his dad. He's got a good paying job, and he's a smart boy. He takes after his mother.
My wife is an engineer.
Oh, is she? What kind?
She's an automotive.
Okay. So she's a mechanical engineer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. She went to, she's been doing it a long time. It's definitely interesting when a mechanic engineer start dating.
Yeah.
That was an interesting conversation to kind of, there's a lot of I guess stuff that has been brought to my attention as far as from engineering side of why things happen the way they do, and
Yeah.
what
Well,
and what's what, which is helpful and hurtful all at the same time.
Well, the thing about mechanical engineers or somebody, an engineer of this status, a lot of times their design is to get it operational in a tight spot, but not functional to repair. I mean, sometimes that's the worst thing. I mean, that you'll see this great design of an engine or whatever, and then you want to look at it and you go, that's great. Now, how do you fix it when that breaks?
And that's the tough part. Like I was asking her some questions, different stuff throughout the time we've been together, and like for a while there, without getting too much into what everything is, but there was let's for instance a blower motor, right, on an HVAC unit,
right?
When they design that stuff, they don't know how it's oriented in the vehicle or machine. They're just asked to make it on this box and to make this unit and have these parameters. Well, they don't know if the motor's facing upward, inward, downward. They just have to get it to fit.
And fit in that spot.
Then it's the OEM's manufacturer that, the vehicle manufacturer that actually says, okay, we're going to wrap this car around it. So there's like a whole bunch of different people designing perfect things that they try to make perfect, and then they're all trying to clash them together and say, hey, you have to change this now because this is how it goes. And it is a pretty tough job, and I do give them a lot of crap most of the time. And
my son runs into that too with electrical motors, because they're always designing motors for, I mean, of course, he works for ABB, which used to be Baldor, and ABB bought out Baldor. And Baldor had bought out Rockwell Automation, so he stayed at the same plant for 26 years. But it's been under it was Reliance, it was Rockwell, then it went to Baldor, and now it's gone from Baldor to ABB. And ABB is a Swedish company, and they look at things entirely different. But you've probably seen Baldor motors on compressors and just about anything out there. Baldor electric motors are made here in the U.S., and it's a well-designed motor, and they do it for the mining industry, which I figured you might have seen in Michigan. But they do a lot for mining, and they do a lot for these tugboats and offshore drilling sites, and they make all kind of huge, anything from a machine. I helped them go to Alabama. We're talking about Alabama. They built a machine so big that they didn't have their own test site to test it. So they had to ship this machine that they built in Kings Mountain all the way to Alabama to a site that had the big cranes and everything, so they could crane that motor over and run it on a test stand. And then after they ran it on the test stand, then they could ship it to Japan. Believe it or not, they make big motors for tire manufacturers. They have a big business shipping overseas to Korea and Japan. I think even China, that they've actually shipped American-made motors to them, and they're really good. I'm very proud of him being an American company like that, being able to have a product that we ship all over the world.
And that is huge. I mean, there's a lot of design that happens, and we have some super smart people in our country.
We do,
and it baffles me how much how much intelligence we have, and how much design, and how much really cool stuff that we put out there as Americans and lead the way. And it's incredible, to be honest with you. I find it amazing every day. And that comment's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's incredible what we have as a country as far as resources and what we do. There's a lot of things out in the world that wouldn't be around if it wasn't for people that lived here. And
Well,
Americans, you know.
I'm real proud of what we got, and you know, out of all the bad things that's happened in this pandemic, I think it's making us realize how valuable our country is and how valuable it is for us to make things here, not to rely on other countries. Because, I mean, we saw our weak spot big time. The you know, everybody and his brother saw the weak spot, saying, "Wow, we don't need to be like that. We need to be self-sufficient. We need to have the manufacturing and the repair and everything that goes along with these things, build the supplies right here, even if we have to pay a little more premium, because what's happening now, these things are going to be more of a premium when we need to have them in the future anyway. I mean, inflation is going to be the next big kick right now. I mean, everybody is seeing a lot of money pushed around, but you're going to see inflation kick in terribly. And I've seen it. I mean, I'm old enough to see inflation and deflation within the economy like that. And we're going to go through an inflationary period, because think about it. I mean, my very first car that I bought, brand new at a dealership.
I don't even want to hear it.
1974. And one of my old videos, you'll see it. I got a picture of my wife and I as we were building our house. I got a 1974 Nova Super Sport 350, had everything. It was loaded. Cost me $3,600 right off the showroom floor. That same car today would cost me $36,000.
Yeah, you can't do a brake job for $3,600 on one of your trucks.
No, I mean, that's the thing about it. And
you know, and you're talking a whole vehicle,
right?
It's insane. And
well, I mean, think about it. Look, think about the guys that are going out and buying $25,000 toolboxes, which blows my mind.
Are you talking about me?
No, I don't know.
Yeah, you are. It's okay.
I'm insulting you.
No. There's not an insulting comment about that. But yeah, no, it's crazy. You know, I mean, I see a lot of things, but that's I guess the investment that I'm trying to make in myself too. You know, like that's like you updating your trucks. You know,
right?
If you didn't update your trucks, you'd have been out of business a long time ago.
Oh yeah,
more than likely. You know. And that's the thing, is your foresight of investment and self-investment that you've done throughout your life is something that I'm taking as a staple of who I want to be. As I see somebody that's investing back into themselves and invest into their own company, their own brand, right? You've been invested in Michael Jones for how long? You know what I mean? Like
50 years.
Your whole life, right? Like
right.
And that's something that I think that a lot of people are going to start doing more of.
Right. And that's what you're going to have to do. I mean, I look at, we're talking about toolboxes, and fortunately for my shop, my guy, I supply all the tools. So my mechanics don't have to buy any tools, and I don't want them to, because that way nobody takes anything off. Nobody saying, well, that's my tool, or that's this, or whatever. My tools are there at the shop. If we need tools, I'll buy the tools. And one thing I don't invest heavy in is toolbox. Well, I say that I've probably got 25 toolboxes, but I don't buy the high dollar ones. I got some bunch of Huskies. I got Milwaukee. I've got one Mac, one Snap-on, but I bought them used too. I'm not. I cringe when I see these guys buying a $30,000 toolbox. And then I want to go, and where's the key to crank that sucker? You know,
that's probably pretty close to the list of what I have for a toolbox.
Yeah.
And, but at the end of the day,
but you're having to move it in and out. You're in somebody else's property. You're working out of somebody else's property. You're not working. So you have to make that your house. And I can understand that.
That's my office. That's my, like, I have a TV in my toolbox that I use as a monitor for wiring schematics and stuff like that. It's like a 24 inch, 27 inch. I don't know what it is, but anyway, but I hook my laptop to it, my company laptop to my screen. So when I pull up a schematic, it's easier for me to read. It's nicer for me. That is my
domain.
office.
That's your domain right there. And that is your, like I said, your office is right there. And I can see that more so than somebody like me who owns all the tools, and we don't lock our toolboxes. I mean, the guys are there, and of course I run up on deals through Napa and other places with toolboxes. And so I'm not big into spending that amount and used ones. I bought, I've got 2 good Snap-on used boxes.
But at the same time, you do buy quality. You're looking for that premium value, right? Where you can buy the most amount of tools for the least amount of money, but still have the most amount of value out of it.
Right.
And that's similar to what I've done too over time. I'm not 100%. Snap-on shirt here. I buy a lot of Snap-on tools because I don't have the time to reorder or warranty them tools. I've gotten away from Harbor Freight tools because I don't like driving to the store. And this is before, I'm talking 20 years ago, I decided I wasn't going to drive to a store to get my stuff warranted because I don't want to take that time out of my day.
Yeah.
If I can see, the biggest thing with a tool truck in my mind is, let's say it's a 19 millimeter wobble socket that blows up in grenades and it's a Snap-on. Okay, it happens on a Wednesday. I can go to another guy in the shop and borrow his and, get me through and we help each other out. And then on Monday when he comes, it's reordered or it's replaced right there when my Snap-on guy gets there, which is awesome. So I've put the value into that. And being on the road, it was a different thing too.
Well, I'll tell you my philosophy on some of this, and we try to have the best tools we can. And of course, I like my Carlisle tools too.
And they're premium. They are a premium product. I don't see anything wrong with Carlisle tools. The problem I have with them is I have to go to the store and buy them.
Yeah. Well, my guys go to my store and buy them.
That's what I get at.
Let me rephrase them. They go to my store and get them and take them back to the shop, and I buy them. But I like those, and also I like Snap-on and Mac and everything else. But here I've been at it for 50 years. I've accumulated over the years a lot of good tools, and I go to a lot of big time sales too. I mean, I might go to a sale and spend $10,000-$12,000 on sale items, and in that process maybe get a lot. I mean, there's a lot of times I've gotten great deals on some Snap-on tools, Mac tools, and everything else. So I'm gonna get them. I'm gonna pick them up that way. I can pick them up at pennies on the dollar at that point. Absolutely. And not have to worry about it. I mean, it's not going to be maybe always the prettiest tray of tools. They're not going to be systematically in there, and they look like where you open it up and it looks like a cake that's been decorated. That's not my toolboxes. My toolboxes are working toolboxes. And if I were to go out to a sale, bought a set, maybe 1 or 2 of them is missing, then I'll just buy those 1 or 2 to go in there with it. And, that sort of stuff. But to actually concentrate on getting what the latest and greatest from the Snap-on, well, the Snap-on guys don't even come around to me because they know I've got 10 times more tools than they got. And unless it's something that's hugely great that's come out, then I don't even get it. I chase them down every once in a while. And I've had some, I know there was a Mac had some either 10 millimeter 12-point sockets that I can only get from them. Nobody else had this 12-point. I believe it was 10 millimeter. We had to do it for a Mac truck, and there was a special one that I had to get. And darn, I spent like $70-$80 just for that one socket. They were the only ones that had it.
And you need it sometimes, and it's nice. To have a guy like you that's offered to supply those tools is phenomenal, other than a guy like me running across it saying, I need it.
Yeah.
I need to go make this investment because it's going to help me in the future. You
Yeah.
know, like I own a lot of my own stuff, as far as like special tooling, even because it is something that the company does provide, but sometimes I just don't want to have to go look for it or deal with
Right.
it and whatever.
Well, and that can be a problem too. I mean, if you're using if you have too many in the shop, and the Jim over here is using a particular tool, and you need it too, and there's not two of them in the shop, you're going to have to wait your turn. So that is going to slow your production down because you're working on production basically.
Yeah,
Whereas
I sell
my guy-
labor.
Do what?
I sell labor.
Right,
I am the commodity at my job.
right.
My time is the commodity at my job.
So because you're paid per job,
I'm paid by the hour.
but I mean, but per job.
Like you come in and have a brake job done, I get paid my
Your
daily-
rate. You
my-
get paid. You get paid the rate what it takes. In other words, if it's a 6-hour brake job, you can do it in 4. You're still going to get paid 6. You don't get that.
Nope. I'm an hourly employee.
Okay.
I work from 6 to 2:30 is my shift,
Yeah.
and my company bills my time 6 to 2:30.
Yeah.
Now a quoted job, there are quoted jobs that are like, okay, you want to, let's say a R&R on an engine for a wheel loader or a excavator or something like that, and you want it to be quoted as a customer. Okay, that's fine. They'll quote it and say, here's what we're thinking. It's more of an estimate than a quote, if that makes sense, because they're going to say, okay, it's going to be basically a day out, a day in, a half a day to swap it over. So let's do 25 hours is what we're going to roughly estimate for that R&R, right? And let's say I come in and I get it done in 23. Now, these are just made up numbers. I don't know if anything's real as far as this, but I'm just shooting, throwing some spaghetti at the wall as far as numbers. Now, if that's a quoted job and I beat that quote, then the company would make them the extra, not per se me. But let's say it's a warranty deal or a pre-delivery inspection and I beat those times that are standard times, or a service is a standard money for service. And I've got a way to do it more efficient than the next guy. Well, my efficiency starts to build, and that's how I can go in and ask for a raise and saying, hey, I'm efficient. I make you money on the top because I'm efficient.
Right.
And I think that's a lot of the thing that, trying to get the job is.
Now, let me ask you this. Now, are they charging book rate?
No.
So they're actually charging real hours.
In heavy equipment, there is somewhat of a suggested time thing that's out there, but it's not very good. There's always issues. It's not like, a set of brakes on a truck pays 5.6 per axle with cams and bushings and slacks, right? Without chambers. I think chambers add a little bit of time. Flat rate, because I did flat rate on trucks for a long time. A set of kingpins pays X number of dollars or whatever it is. And
Kingpin's a lot more aggravating than a brake chambers, that's for sure.
Absolutely. But if the guy needed a set of brakes and the kingpins, well, now you already had the brakes off. You're just kind of assembling. So there's a bonus to that. But
right. Basically, they're and some shops do this. I mean, some shops pile on. I mean, they'll charge you for the book rate is this for the brake chamber. The book rate is this for the shoes. The book rate is this for the spindle or anything else, or kingpins and bushings, and they'll pile on the same exact job and stuff like that. And then, well, for instance, the other day you were working on that transmission. You worked on that transmission to a certain point, and then you realized it's going to cost more for me to continue on and replace these gears than it would be for me to get a reman. And at that point, all I'm doing is replacing, and I'm not having to go in there and set up the gears, replace every gear, make sure we order all these gears, bam, just get one more transmission, send that other one back in as a core, and then you save the customer money and you save yourself plenty of time.
But that's where I try to, like, when I was getting that transmission, once I found out that transmission had metal in it and we were going down the path of internal failure.
Well, you didn't know at that point, you didn't know if it was gear, bearing, what it was
Yep.
that you were getting that metal. I mean, you were seeing all those metal shards and everything in the bottom of the transmission, but you would have to go through every single gear, every single bearing to make sure that was the correct one. Because if you didn't, you could be putting all those parts and have one failure that would make the entire job look like it was a sham.
And that's the scariest part, is what is reusable when I get down to it. Like that job there, I ripped that transmission apart as fast as, once I got it out, I was just getting that trans apart as fast as possible, because I mean, I did it on a set of blocks because I knew there was bad metal. And if my case was bad or a shaft was bad, I knew we were going to be doing all the bearings, possibly all the clutch packs. And I'm like, that's going to add up real quick to being not worth it and going right to a reman. So what I was doing is I was diving as fast and as far into that transmission as I could to get to the part that I knew where I could check my case and check my bearing and check stuff enough to say, okay, we need all these parts. We're going to have to make a call quickly. That way it's only an hour or two or three versus measuring and checking and,
diagnostic. You were going to have to charge them for all the diagnostic of that, and then actually make the repair and then analyze it from them as saying, hey, here's the cost of doing this, this, and this. We had to diagnose it. We have to send out all this, get the new gears, get the new bearings, everything else. Yeah, I understand, because we do the same thing with our transmission. Sometimes we've got some that it's, if it's one or two gears and we know it's the type repair that we consistently see, we'll go ahead and do that. If not, we'll jerk it out and say, hey, man, take it over to the reman shop. Let them just give me a complete one with a 2-year guarantee, all this sort of stuff. I'm in better shape with
What
that.
transmissions do you run?
Oh, gosh. Well, we run the new ones, the Cascadias.
What's your favorite, I guess?
Do what?
What's your favorite?
My favorite transmission?
Yeah.
13.
A 13.
Yes, I like a 13. That's for me personally.
Not an 18.
Huh?
Not an 18.
Well, I've got an 18. I got an 18 in the wrecker. An 18 is the same as a 13. A 13 and an 18 basically are the same
on the top end.
On the top end, and the 18 is only going to do you if you're into logging, or if you got a wrecker and you need to go through a lot of low gears to get up to speed, then an 18 is fine. And that's what we have in our wrecker. We got an 18 speed. We got an N14 with an 18, which is great combination.
That's a combination for the books right there, buddy.
Right. That is the combination you want. If you had to go out and design yourself a wrecker, that's what you would want. That N14, 515 horse. It's a 99 model, I believe, 98, 99 model. No def, no anything. It's straight power is all it is. And we love it. I mean, it's the only thing I don't like about it, it's in a Volvo. But I can live with that. I can live with that because I got it reasonable and everything. But I've got another one. I've got a 2006 freight shaker that I'm the big cab. I'm gonna probably make it into a wrecker one day, and I've got a few others. But I call around, and the other one now we've got another big freight liner too. That's got one day we'll pull it off the road. It's actually a 60 series with a 13, and it came from Hendrick Motorsports.
Okay.
When we picked up that truck, actually it was under Landon's part, my partner. When I picked it up from Hendrick Motorsports and took it down off 485, I said, I know these boys really blow my doors off every time I go down the road. I mean, they were notorious for just blowing your doors off. I mean, you'd be running 70, 75 miles an hour. Here comes one of those big NASCAR haulers, and you say, what in the world have they got in it? So when I picked up that truck, and it was Chase Elliott's, that was the last one that used it was Chase Elliott when he was on the Infiniti side, and they taken this truck out of service. It was a 98, I believe, Freightliner with a 60 series engine and a 13 speed. Well, I got in there, took it down the road, and I was on 485. I said, well, I'm just going to step down on it. I'm going to see how much where they got it pegged at. Thank goodness there wasn't many people on the road. I pegged that odometer. It went all the way past 85 down straight. It was straight up and down. It's analog speedometer.
Yeah.
It was straight up and down and was still going. So I have no idea where that thing would have stopped. It might have stopped at 10 miles an hour or something on the other side. But it was, I came back to the shop and I said, boys, there's one thing we're going to do first. We're cutting the speed on this truck. I'm going to tell you that. I said, there's no way in the world we're putting a driver in this truck at that speed. I said, we'll have tickets right and left with that. And yeah, we did. We cut it. I cut it back to 75 miles an hour. And of course, the boy that drives it right now, he's gotten 1 or 2 tickets he's had to go pay for because it gets out and just cruises. I mean, that truck is phenomenal. I think it was set at 5 and a quarter horses or something. And it doesn't know a hill. It's never met a hill. I can tell you that.
Because we see a lot of 18 speeds in our area here in Michigan.
Yeah.
18 is where we're at, but we also have a lot of gravel train,
right,
and heavy trucking. 160,000 pounds is where most of our plates are at.
Yeah.
So that 18 speed is like,
oh, it's a bread and butter for them.
It's and then I personally like an 8LL.
Oh, do you?
I think they're kind of nice. I mean, I like their splits. You can really, if you got good power, and an 8LL.
Well, I mean,
you can grab and go.
That one will give you the double O, so you can get out of a jam, but then get you on down the road. But where those lack for me is when you're rolling up and down hills.
Yep.
Then that's where you lose it on.
You need that split.
You need that split. And see, that's where a 13 is so sweet because, I mean, to me, a 13 is so sweet because I can see it or see a hill coming, and I've already got it flipped to 12 before I hit that hill. And then I don't even feel it, and then I'm back into 13 when I cross the knoll, whatever. I mean, it would really fall back and probably not need that 12th gear. But I mean, to maintain, I mean, you can see your traffic fall behind you when you're running to 13 and they're running a 10 or an automatic or whatever. You flip that baby, then you're still moving, and they're dropping back because even on an automatic, it's trying to catch up because that computer's going, oh, I didn't know that hill was there. Well, I saw the hill.
Yeah, that's what was funny on that trip to Alabama in that truck. I was in a day cab coming back with 80,000. I was grossing 80, whatever. So I was legal, and I'm coming up these hills in Tennessee, Kentucky, whatever it was, and I'm like, I click over, and I'm passing, and the CB went nuts with all these over the road guys.
Yeah.
They're like, what is a day cab doing in Michigan? And how are you pulling on us like that? Yeah. And I'm like, well, I'm over 500 horsepower. And I think it was a 13 speed or an 18. I think it might have been an 18 speed, but I was just in that sweet spot and letting that 500 and some horsepower roll.
So if you went to Alabama and everything, so you came down 75. Where you went through Kentucky, you were coming down, and then you hit Cumberland Gap and all that.
Yep.
And then from Cumberland Gap, if you're, I've got 2 regular runs that go right up to the Kentucky line every day.
Okay.
They go up to a little town called Caryville, which is above Knoxville. And so what you did, then you ran down 75 and then ran 75 back down went down through Chattanooga and that area. If you went into Alabama, you may, or did you?
I went down.
Went down to 65. Then
I went to Birmingham almost.
Okay, so you cut across and went down to 60. You went 75, cut across, and went down to 65, and then 65 right into Birmingham. That's what you did.
Yeah, and it was a cool trip. I had a blast. I mean, I had so much fun being on the road, and I mean, I almost became a truck driver that day. It was real close.
Hey,
it was a lot of fun to have that much freedom. Like the freedom, I kind of always, it seems funny, but there's a lot of freedom when you're on the road. It seems like.
Do you know that transmission that Heavy Machinery's ZF? I don't even know what that transmission.
Oh, what's he say? Where's he at there? Oh, ZF. Oh yeah, that transmission I tore apart in that road grader was a ZF, I believe.
Who makes that transmission?
ZF is used in a lot of machines. It's
Big
a power. It's more of a power shift.
Yeah.
It's got clutch packs and basically a ZF is that's John Deere uses a lot of ZFs. Case uses ZF. I don't know anybody that doesn't use a ZF in their wheel loaders or construction equipment, power shift or power reversers. That's their go-to. And they are I think they are German.
Could be.
You might be able to help me out on that one, but I think ZF is it's definitely European transmission for sure.
German had some good.
Oh man, the Germans build some stuff that is they're ridiculous.
Well, I mean, the Germans have had great engineers for years. Germans almost beat us in World War II because had we not have got hold of the German engineers for the Manhattan Project and World War II, we would have been under Hitler right now, probably. I mean, that's the problem.
It's pretty wild how that World War II, in my mind, was literally the power of manufacturing.
It is
how it was, and if our country wasn't able to adapt and overcome like we did with building as many planes, Michigan, we switched over and started building planes instead of vehicles here in our state. It was wild. Yep.
Yeah. So that was German.
Yep.
Patrick and Heavy Machinery both told us that was German.
And actually, Heavy Machinery his name is actually Patrick too.
Oh, is it? So we got two Patricks in here.
Yeah,
we got this Patrick Zemke. I think I'm saying that right. And then Heavy Machinery, who is Patrick. Yeah. Now, what is Heavy Machinery? What's your last name?
I don't know. On Instagram, it's Patrick the Machine with an underscore in the middle of it.
Okay.
Underscore.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I'll impress you then, guys. Since you're from Germany. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I just counted to 10 in German.
You know that person that was that picture that was up there. I wonder what he interpreted. He said he was an interpreter.
That's my dad. My dad.
I know. I wonder what language he interpreted and how you know that.
Well, I mean, my dad. He was an interpreter for the 82nd Airborne.
Was it German that he was interpreting?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I was kind of laughing at because I'm like, man, he must have.
Yeah, my dad would. He tried to teach. I'm actually probably the one of his 4 sons that liked the German language, and I took. I actually when I was about 8, 9 years old, I got. They used to have called Learn a Language records, and my mom and dad bought me the German for me and my other brother, one of my other brothers, and we actually studied the German language because Dad knew it so well.
Yeah.
And my dad came back and we had one of his first cousins actually married a girl from Germany and brought her back to the States. And when Dad and her would sit around and talk and they would talk in German, I was just in awe of that. I'm going, how does Dad know that? I mean, because it was just, but it was a pretty language. I like the German language. it's got a flow to it that you don't hear in some, in Spanish and Italian and everything. The German language has, I don't know, it's, I guess because of the engineering and the sound that it makes and everything, that language matches the technology that they have. It's or something. It just that concise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
yeah, Heavy Machinery gave you he said those numbers you counted were pretty good. That's what he said.
Oh, I did pretty good.
So you got a pretty good from somebody that lives in Austria. That's
yeah,
awesome.
if I did that pretty good, yeah, that's good. And this is from an old redneck in North Carolina. Yeah.
I know, that's pretty awesome.
I sound more like Foghorn Leghorn than I do sound like that. I got my old Southern drawl and everything. It's different.
I've got my Michigan pop accent. So
yeah, you got okay. you got the Michigan / almost Canadian sound.
Oh man,
it's well, you hear the Canadian influence of Michigan in your voice sometimes. You hear.
I could go full on Youper for you and say yatter there and that there stuff and everything, eh?
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Yeah. Now, what was the two comedians, Dave and somebody that used to be on like Second City or one of them and they were the Canadian guys. I forget what this and they. Oh gosh, I can't remember what they were. This has been 30 or 40 years ago. But they used to be funny Canadians, and they would come on with their old hats with the ears on it and everything.
Yep.
And they'd be talking about ice fishing and
oh yeah,
and all that crazy stuff.
But yeah, Michigan and Canada, we have a pretty good. We always had a pretty good relationship, I guess, if that makes sense. We see a lot of Canadians over here and where I'm at because I'm so close to a border. I'm close to two borders, really. Two cross.
Are you in the upper neck of Michigan? Where are you at?
I am between Detroit and Port Huron, if you want to say that. The thumb. I'm in the southern part of the thumb.
Okay, I know about where you're talking about.
I'm down in the lower half in the corner there. But there's two bridge crossings and a ferry crossing where I'm at. Within 40 miles of each other, we have Windsor and Sarnia are the two biggest Canadian cities that we've been to.
So Patrick's German too, evidently.
He's a German mutt. I like that term because I think we are. I think American is just the nice way of saying mutt.
Yeah, and that's what Americans are. I
love it.
I get tickled at everybody, and they say, "Oh yeah, well, all your people came." I said, "Well, hold on a second. Part of my people were already over here on the shore, and they were waiting on you to get here. I've got Cherokee Indian in me too. I've got German, Irish, English, and Scottish, and Cherokee in my blood.
I've got. There's so many different. I've been a mutt my whole life, but I do have a Potawatomi is the Indian that I have.
Oh, so you got actually the Upper Canadian or the Canadian Northeast Indian.
Yeah, back when it was just a territory, they really didn't. They just said, your tribe was. This half was over here and this half was over there because you were kind of like they were kind of the border walkers back in the day when they drew the lines,
Yeah, who was it? Ponce de Leon come over there and in that area. I can't remember all the
something like that. I don't pay attention. I didn't really get too much into it. My great grandmother was 100%.
Really?
My great grandmother. Well, yes, yeah. My great grandmother was 100% Indian.
Well, see, you're like me now. I go to the dentist and he says, "See these high cheekbones?" And I see that in you too.
Yeah.
He said, "That's your Indian." And
is that what it is?
Yeah, that's what they say. The Indians have high cheekbones, and when I see and see, I'm an older guy, and my whole face has got the droopsy.
Yeah, I'm getting there too. Don't worry. I'm never going to catch your age, but I'm hoping to see your age.
Yeah.
How's that sound?
Well, that's what I get for being. I enjoy it. I'm trying to live my life to the fullest and all that sort of stuff. I mean, like I said, I'm even getting out and driving this. I got to drive to Savannah, Georgia later today, and because I ran out of drivers, I ran out of every possible driver I could get my hands on today, and which is a good thing because we are very, very busy at FedEx.
That's awesome. I love to hear when people are busy. Nothing makes me happier than hear that people are busy and looking to give people opportunities. I mean,
yeah. Well, I'm actually trying to hire some more because we definitely need the drivers right now, and I hired 4 drivers last week, I believe it was, and I could probably use another 5 or 6 drivers. And
dang, that's awesome.
We've got, and you know that I'm desperate for drivers. If I get out and drive, I told my partner that's coming on with us, and I told him, I said, well, I got to put the worst driver in the fleet on driving tomorrow. He said, who's that? I said, me. I said, I said, when it gets down to me, I'm scraping the barrel. But
so what you're saying is you're getting a raise today.
Yeah, I'm getting a raise. Yeah, my wife's going to pay me twice what she's been paying me.
So you get 2 lunches when you get home?
I don't know. I get an extra attaboy. That's what I'll get. I mean, I just it is what it is. I've got commitments. I went ahead and made some commitments, and then some of my normal runs that I have to cover kind of came up with extra runs today, and I even had to give up one. I had one I couldn't even cover.
Seriously?
So yeah, seriously. I had to give it up and put it on the extra board. But yeah, I've got right now I've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3. I got 6 drivers running right now, and I'll need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll need 5 later today, and then myself. And so it's and then I bid it on and got a run in out of Savannah. A comfortable man's going to go local himself. That's good.
Local, nice.
Yeah. Well, mine are not local, but mine are regional runs. What I've got.
Yeah. Now your runs, do them guys come home every night, or is it every other night type of
every
deal?
day?
Every day.
I don't know anybody has to sleep in a truck.
Okay.
Even though I got sleeper trucks, I have the Cascadias. I have a lot of the Cascadias that I'm running right now that have got the DD15 engine in them, and DD15 10-speed.
Now the DD15, that is the
Detroit
15, and it's 15 liter.
15 liter.
Yep. So you got big displacement.
Yeah.
What kind of power are you running with them though? What's your horsepower on those?
I think the horsepower rating on those are about 475.
You keep them in the 400 range though?
Oh yeah.
You keep over.
Yeah, we keep.
You don't go crazy 500 horsepower or nothing like that.
No. I keep it normal. I don't really need. I mean, we don't need it with that much horsepower. I mean, it's adequate horsepower.
Yeah.
And, I try to keep it there.
It seems like you keep pretty good with your loads matching your trucks, and you've got it pretty well pegged out where your fuel economy is.
Yeah.
Last night when you said how much DEF you use a week, I was like, holy cow.
You got to figure that's 50 trucks though.
I know, I get it, but it's like, dang, that's a lot of DEF. But you're probably getting a pretty good. Do you fill up your DEF at your?
No, we do. We got a couple of the terminals that have DEF.
Okay.
But most of them we're having to get it on the road because of the fact that we haven't got every one of them that's got DEF at the terminals. We don't have it at Charlotte yet. I wish they had it at Charlotte. It would save a lot of aggravation.
So you're slowly converting your fleet into the final tier 4 like you have to. I mean, you have to anyway, but it's a slower process for you. And
yeah,
if you can buy DEF in a tote if you're using that much, I don't know how scattered your trucks are, but if you can get a central fill station or you're using a tote a month or a week, if you can go through a tote a week, you're going to be saving yourself big money on DEF costs.
Well, we get DEF at a pretty good rate.
Yeah.
As
a Napa store, I'm sure you're.
And I sell DEF. I could go out there and pick a carton of it right now if I wanted to. I carry the blue DEF right there I'm looking at it as I turn to the left here. I can see it across the way there.
Yep.
But yeah,
that's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. You got thrown out. We didn't throw you out, heavy machinery. Now here we got the kid. Now,
the kid.
All right. Now I don't know the kid yet. Well,
he was on one of my live streams, and he was. I wish I knew his Instagram so I could, chat. I like chatting with these people and knowing these people, and it looks like he's got a pretty sweet rig right there.
Yeah.
Looks like pretty sweet Pete. I love the drop visor, the bumper, the straight bridge burners.
And I bet you he does like a lot of my young drivers do. They get the air seat and they take it all the way to the floor. And I don't know why.
I don't mind it. I think it's pretty sweet. When you cruise next to that dude and he just looks over and all it is a head above that window, that door frame, that's pretty pretty sweet. The kid, he's always on Justin Sterils and CPS. Gotcha. CPs.
Okay. Yeah. Well, good.
Gotcha. Well, it's great to have you here too.
Yeah. We're glad to have you here. Yeah. This is we're trying to grow. Both of us are trying to grow our channels and everything, and we're trying to get more and more. I've got a lot of new people that I don't even know. I'm seeing them come in, and I'm glad to have them in. And we're just, the more we get in here, the better our community becomes, it looks like. So
I think so too. And I think we're building I think as far as what I feel like I'm building a great group of knowledgeable resources that are out there, with different people. And I love it. I wouldn't want to do much else.
Well,
this type.
We bring a lot of different variety, and that's why I like to get different people on too, and you do too on your site. I would have jumped on last night if I hadn't been. I was editing a video as I was listening to y'all, and
like I said last night, I got to get after that last part of that transmission video. I got to get the thumbnail done, the description done today, and get that posted because people were asking me last night, "How'd that go?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's right there to be done. You can see it."
Yeah, we do that too. When I bring my camera up to the shop, my mechanic Jim, he says, "Oh, here he comes with his third arm." And I said, "Well, what we try to do, and what I'm trying to, and what I'm going to try to do, of course, is video a lot of the repetitive problems that we have with equipment." And then if I can pinpoint something like that and tell my guys, well, go on YouTube, type in these words and get to this point, and you will see what we're talking about. We'll show our actual equipment and what we're having to do or what I need you to do. I mean, because a lot of times, we can have a driver fix something small with just a limited repair. I mean, sometimes we've had things that were a $2 part that would take you down, and that drives you crazy. That drives you crazy.
Yeah, that hurts your pocketbook. It hurts your pride. It hurts a lot of things. And I think that's the biggest thing, when you got a load of freight sitting on the side of the road and you're taking that personal. You are, I'm sure.
Well,
and you're like
personal. I'm taking it financially too, because FedEx. If we break down and we see that we can't move it, then we're charged for missing a load. In other words, for missing the package count, they would charge us back for that. Plus, they will have to send out another truck to get it. So we will lose our pay and get charged points against our contract. So it's very detrimental for us to break down. We do not want to break down at all. And if I do break down, I want to be able to recover it myself. So that's why I try to have enough spare drivers, spare trucks, locations where I've got different vehicles. Like I was saying earlier, we had a compressor that went out on one of my trucks headed to Savannah, Georgia. Well, he was going to Richmond Hill, and I had him to swing through the Savannah terminal, grab another one of my trucks, and then I had somebody check it out, and we analyzed that we could bobtail that truck back. We couldn't bring it in with a load because it had a valve popping off on the compressor, or it was either that or the air dryer. But we knew that it was maintaining 100 pounds of air, but if you had trailers with it, it would go below 100. So you hit your brakes first time, you're down below 100, you knock off your valves, you'd be sitting on the side of the road. So we could bobtail it legally and get it back and save a wrecker bill, which we did. And then my driver was able to grab another one of my units, go on, finish his route, never missed a beat. Took him 15, 20 minutes change up.
He's dropping trailers and changing out.
Yep.
And that's good.
He actually had the other guy coming out of Orlando. He said, meet me at the 299 terminal as opposed to the Butthead, which is about 10 miles difference. And then they just dispatched him from that point instead of the Butthead, and didn't miss a beat. By the time the other guy got there, he was switched out, had the other unit, had everything ready to rock and roll, backed in, switched out, gone, made service.
Yeah, that's perfect. And
yeah,
but that was another question though. Do you have repairs like that done on the side of the road, or do you just hook them back? If you have, let's say you have a repair, like I guess an air compressor,
right?
Like that goes out and you lose it, and you're sitting on the side of the road. Do you hire somebody to go out there and repair that, or do you just?
I go after it. That's why that's the purpose of the record.
Okay,
it's cheaper for me. One, because the road service call will eat you alive. In other words, you're going to be paying retail for the compressor. You're going to be paying road service to go get that unit. You're going to miss your loads. The cost is astronomical. You could end up costing yourself $2,000 or $3,000 more. So we've got the record. All my routes are within 500 or 600 miles. Well, really not even that far out. Say 300 miles out as far as I go. From point to point. If I've got, I can get into some going into Florida. If they're going down to Orlando, I could get in a little more trouble because I'm extending it out a little bit more than I like. But 99% of my stuff is going within a parameters of North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, Virginia. That's my area. That's all I'm running. So I'm sort of dead in the middle of it, where Cherryville is, where Cherryville, North Carolina is. I'm sort of in central of all these locations. And then I even have trucks, for instance, I have trucks going, maybe leaving Charlotte, and the driver calls me and says, hey, I got an issue with this. Well, I have trucks at my shop that I keep all the time, and they could be en route, and they say if they're going from Charlotte to Knoxville, Tennessee, well, basically they're going right through my area, not right by my shop, but within 10 miles of my shop, either going over in Dallas, North Carolina, or Shelby, North Carolina, or even up toward Forest City, or some of these areas, Morganton or whatever. They're all generally in that way. As long as they haven't gone completely into their route, then I can retrieve them real quick and put them on the road and get them going again.
Yeah. That's
okay. Here's comfort. He broke down on I-77 with a $5 part. Company had to pay $2,500 for the service. Exactly. Yeah, I know it.
And as a repair person, though, like, myself looking at it from the other side, I was just curious of what the value is to that for somebody like you.
Well, like my mechanics, Larry and Jim, like they always, we don't want that phone to be calling us at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
No,
we don't want those phone calls. The quieter they keep my phone as far as repairs go, they want me to just to handle the dispatches and things like that and not be worrying about repairs. And that's where we pour more money into preventative maintenance than the average contractor probably. I mean,
yeah.
it's you can spend a dime in the shop that'll save you $1,000 on the road. And that's the way we look at it, because if you, I mean, most people that are in the business of repairing a truck will know what the items are that are going to start causing you problems. Well, I mean, for instance, we ran through a rash of radiators lately. We had bought these used trucks, and I even had to kind of get on to the dealership about it, and they actually gave me a little bit of a rebate. We were buying all these Cascadias, and the radiators were wearing out. We had 2 or 3 of them that started leaking. The radiators were leaking, and we'd take them out, take them to our radiator repair guy. He said, these things are junk. He said, by this amount of miles on the truck, you buy it, that radiator is gone. And it's so much plastic and so much junk that they put from the manufacturer on that. And we just pull them out. I got a crane. We got a sliding crane that we can go up over the truck. We can pop the hood up, pull the radiators out, and we can have them out fairly quick. Take them, have the cores and everything rebuilt, put the good frame on them, stick them back in the truck, and they're good for another 500,000. Hopefully,
that's good. Hopefully 500.
Yeah.
Now 500,000 to you is a lot less than 500,000 to me.
Yeah.
500,000 on a gravel trainer.
Yeah, 500,000. If you get 500,000 on a gravel truck, it's wore out. Yeah,
it's hurting.
It's hurting. It's coming in with things hanging off of it.
Well, we had a driver that that company I used to work for, we'd keep them 500,000 and then sell them. Is what our thing was with the 2 trucks that went over the road all the time. That's where the owner of the company decided that was his sweet spot as far as selling them to keep it up to maintenance. I had one driver that he went through 3 trucks. He went through 3 trucks while I was at the company. And at 500,000, he'd get a new one. And his brakes at 500,000, I'd never touch them. He had 500,000 miles, and I would not have to do a brake job at all. It'd be still good to go.
But he was good. It was his equipment, wasn't it?
No,
I wasn't.
Nope. It was the company I worked for. It was my owner's trucks. You know what I mean? It was just a truck, but it was his truck that he drove. He took it upon himself as an owner operator type of person, if that makes sense. Was his mindset. That was his truck. And like, even when like it'd need a service, he would be like, I'll pull it in for you. I'll pull it out. I'm like, okay, that's fine, whatever. And at first it was kind of weird when I first started there, because I'm like, that's kind of weird. That's just a truck. I'll drive it in. He's like, this is my home, man. This is my truck. I'm like, okay. And the owner went up to crawl in it the one day, and he's like, hey, I just want to see your new truck. And he's like, I'm glad you asked me before you got in my truck that you own. That's the way his mindset was. And it was great for me working on it to know that was his truck.
I had a driver that I used to let him take the truck home. This was back when I was a smaller fleet. And this boy would spit shine his truck. I mean, it looked as good as any detailed truck that you would see out there. And he did not want anybody else driving that. So to keep him happy, because he had a long run, he had a hard run, I let it go. I said, you know, I didn't want to do it. And one or two times that I was in an emergency and had to use it. Boy, he got upset. He got upset. He did not like that in the least. It was like he was like a little kid slinging his books. I'm just not going to do this anymore, and all that sort of stuff. And I'm not going to go to the trouble to keep it clean if you're going to put somebody else in it and they're going to dirty up my truck. So I kept him happy for all the time. He worked for me for about 10 years and did a great job. I had him in a couple different trucks, and he immaculate. He kept those trucks. He was in a C-15 Mac. Both of them were Macs that I had him in, but he was in a 93 model Mac, and it looked like brand new when I took him out of it. And I just sold that. I kept that truck, put 200. I put 2 million miles on this truck. 2 million miles on that truck before I actually sold it. And but it was a good truck. It was a good truck.
That's awesome to see the guys that take pride in their stuff. You know, it's pretty incredible. I appreciate it more than, you know, I'm just some dude that works on heavy equipment, and when I see a truck all shined up and rolling and looking good, or even if it's not even, it doesn't even have to have the chrome wheels and the, you know, shiny. It's just when a clean looking truck rolls by, you just, man, it just gets me. A little bit of chrome.
It's hard to do that with a fleet, though. I wish I could. I mean, we wash them, but it's hard to do that with a fleet because my trucks don't see the wash job like some of them can, because we've got so many restrictions. We used to wash them on the yard at FedEx. They've cut that out. We can't do that. They used to have a portable wash guy that would come by. And because all the environmental stuff with the runoff, things like that, we have to just wait till we get them back to our shop. And when they're coming back to our shop, they're dirty. I can tell you that. But we get them.
Absolutely.
Let me answer a question here. The kid, he said, do you ever pull a working tractor to where you broke down and repower? Yeah, we do that all the time. I mean, that's the purpose of the wrecker. A lot of times we'll take one we got at the shop, hook it up with the wrecker. My wrecker guy, who is a mechanic and a driver, he will take it to the spot, drop it out, and whatever. It depends on the loads. It depends. A lot of it has to depend on what our load situation is. If we're pulling back empties, we're not in a hurry, so we don't have to rush it in. If we're in a dire need situation that we got to hurry up and get down there, sometimes we've actually I've grabbed a truck and he's grabbed a wrecker, and we take off and don't even hook it up and go. We'll both drive. I'll drive the truck so I can get on down there and switch out and have the power unit going again. And it depends on how far out it is and all that sort of stuff. But sometimes we drive both of them and then wrecker the one back, or like I said, or hook it up. But you know, you're taking 30, 40 minutes of time sometimes to hook up with a wrecker, whereas you can go, hey, bam, bam, go out there and grab that truck, get that guy on the road. If he's only 30 miles away, then I'm not even going to hook it to a wrecker. I'm gonna run out and switch him out, get him moving, because we are so time sensitive within the job that we have to do it that way. But it's
absolutely,
yeah. Now, what the kid had something else in here. What is he?
Yeah, clean truck.
Yeah, that's what they say. You know, it does.
Kevin said up there that TMC has the best maintained trucks out there.
Well, TMC is, I think, pretty good. Walmart does.
Them are the black trucks, right?
TMC, I don't know if they are or not, but Walmart has some very good, and that's some of the used trucks we've been buying lately are Walmart trucks. Of course, we like to get the Southern Walmart trucks. I've got a video I'm gonna do of that too, of how I buy my used trucks, because I get them and they allow me, because I buy so many, to and I'll give them a plug. Here's Select Truck. That's the Freightliner division. Select Truck's a used truck division of Freightliner, and they'll let me look at these trucks prior to being detailed, because there's nothing worse than getting a detailed truck in, and then you don't know where the rust was. You don't know what needs to be replaced. It all looks brand new when you get it back. And that's the worst thing for us. So we try our best to get a good truck and see everything about it. I mean, if it's leaking oil, I want to know where that oil leak is. I don't want you to paint over it and then 3 weeks into the run, it starts leaking that oil because all that paint that you sprayed on it, it's the oil's leaking through it then, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. There's one company that's here in Michigan that has, it's like a dark blue truck, but the company name is Steelcase.
Yeah, I know Steelcase. Steelcase makes furniture.
Yes. And the trucks are show truck. Every truck they have is like a show truck.
Yeah.
And they came up, they're a Michigan company. They came up and said, you won't see a wrecked Steelcase truck on the road.
It's like UPS.
They tarp them. They tarp them. They tarp their truck if it gets into an accident. They tarp it and cover it to bring it back to get it fixed.
And UPS does the same thing. You won't ever see hardly a UPS truck being towed, or especially one that's wrecked. If there's a UPS wreck involved, you won't see that truck being towed down the road. They will actually. I had a friend that worked there. They made them before the wrecker pulled away. I think it was a UPS guy that fell asleep and got killed or whatever, and turned over the truck and tore it up pretty bad. They made them take that truck and spray it gray primer all over. It was a complete gray looking or white looking. It had no markings whatsoever of UPS. You would not have known that was their thing. They didn't want it being towed down the road, and you won't ever see a used UPS truck that anybody else is driving. They crush them once they finish with the truck. Once they finish that truck, they crush them. They'll gut it out. I don't know if they sell the powertrains off. They probably wore completely out, but they will not sell even the package. You don't see a used package truck out there on the road, whereas you might see a bread truck and all these other, even our FedEx trucks. You'll see old FedEx trucks out there because we own the trucks and we can sell them. But you will not.
I never even thought about that.
Yep. You have never seen a used brown UPS package truck that somebody else has driven that bought it and repurposed it. I mean, you might see a Snap-on tool truck, or you might see a Mac tool truck, or you might see a FedEx truck, but you won't see UPS back out there again. They crush.
Wild.
Yeah, they send them to the crusher. So that's.
I'm gonna have to be getting off here. I got some things.
Well, that's two of us, but I've enjoyed it because I've got to go drive.
Yeah, you got to go to work.
I actually got to do a real job.
Yeah, you got to go to work.
Well, guys, I have enjoyed it immensely. I hope we've been able to talk to a lot of the guys. I see some popping in right now, but look at the live review our live stream. Hopefully, give us some remarks down there. Tell us what you think about it, and join us. Myself on Sunday, Heavy's on Saturday nights usually, and try to be, and then we got CP is. I have no idea when CP's on Friday nights usually live, but he's so busy with everything, and he's in and out. He's a wild man.
He's a mover,
but there's a lot of guys, and then Justin, a lot of. You'll see him probably this afternoon. And JC Smith. I hadn't seen JC, but he's been busy. He was on yours last night at the end.
Yep.
I haven't seen him in here today. And a lot of my regular guys are in and out, but we got to talking more trucking. So I don't know what we never know where the show's going to go. But guys, I've enjoyed it, and we'll see y'all next week for sure.
Have a good one.
See ya.
See ya.